Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Let me just get set up here. Just want to pop in live real quick because I'm going to be doing a very special anxiety masterclass. I wanted to mostly prepare you for this masterclass because I'm essentially going to be compressing about 15 years, okay, 15 years of experience into this topic. And here's more or less the premise of it. And by the way, if you want to register for this anxiety masterclass, I have a link in the description of this live video. Go ahead and click that link and then enter your name and email. And so I'm going to be hosting that later today. So you can register that way. I will send you an email when I go live. I'm not exactly sure because I'm still trying to put a lot of this together here within the next couple hours or so. So it's going to be later on this afternoon. But if you can't make it live, then I'll make sure to send out the replay. And so if you want to get those links again, make sure that you are registered. Go to the link in the description of this live video. And so let me actually give you a little bit of an overview of what this is going to be about. And to really kick it off, I want to share with you, a couple messages and comments that I've seen on my page, and this is really why I do all of this stuff. Like, this is what makes me happy. This is why I'm sharing all of this information with you. So I won't name names, but probably ask, and you'll probably see some of these comments if you watch some of the live videos anyways. But here's one that I saw. It said, "Hey Jorge, how are you, man? I just want to let you know." Let me just actually read the important stuff here. It says, so far with the recommended things that you recommend in the past, I've noticed I've had a lot more energy, especially after reducing sugar consumption. So thanks, keep up the great content. Guys, whenever I hear comments like that, when I read those comments, when I hear your success stories, that makes me happy. Like, that's what, that's why I do this. Like, if I know some people ask me, like, why, like, they kind of like get, I don't know, they're skeptical that I'm sharing all of this for free. But this is really the payment that I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for your success story. Like, that's what makes me happy. Here's another one. It says, really good overview. Thanks for this. I'm going back over the videos as there's a lot to take in. I'm hoping that my health will improve. The sleep is a really big one. I'm not sure if the mineralization is helping my sleep a bit, but I seem to be getting better rest. It would be great to restore my health and vitality to what it once was. I'm going to skip a little bit. It says, thank you so much for not charging for the workshop. I'm learning so much. You are welcome. You probably know who you are. But again, like, this is basically what makes me happy. And this has to do with the Anxiety Summit, by the way. So, there's a reason why I'm sharing these success stories. Here's another one. Let's see. One thing to notice is that yesterday I had some clear and vivid dreams. I usually don't get dreams. So, this goes back to, if you're, for those of you who are following the Hormone Bootcamp and you're starting to notice differences in your health with your rest, with your sleep, that's because of, the minerals, the vitamin D, and we're barely getting started. We haven't even gotten into addressing nutrient depletions, detoxifying, or any of these other things. So, I'm so glad. This isn't a little bit of an older one, but this one was like one of my favorite ones that I've read in a while. Here's one. It says, my hair is getting thick again since I started adding in magnesium. My bald patch is diminishing. Like, just reading that, like, that's huge. Like, I can't even tell you, like, how many people I talk to that go through this experience, people that don't even like leave the house. Like, I was there. I was facing that depression. Like, when my hair was falling off, I was basically isolating myself from society and really want to hang out or do anything because of all of these changes that were going on through me. It says here further, I ran my fingers through my hair today and was surprised how thick it felt compared to before. Then I checked where it was sparse before and not as nearly as obvious. So these are just some of the success stories that I've heard here in the last few days and weeks through all of the information that I've shared. And now the reason why I share that with you is because I believe that listening to that kind of information, what I believe is empowering information, when you see other people get results, I believe that it helps some people find hope. And here's one of the things that is very important, so this is still part of Hormone Bootcamp, right? This is actually a class, but this is going to be a special training class that I want to do because if you've been following Hormone Bootcamp, so today is day 12 for Hormone Bootcamp, and I've been talking about vitamin D. I've been talking about how that improves gut health, the correlation between vitamin D levels and gut health. Now, here's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, but I've mentioned this. If you watch the last few videos, live videos that I've done, I basically talked about how when you improve your gut health, you can improve your mental health, your mood, because again, your gut health, if you're able to digest proteins, then you're able to get amino acids. If you're able to get amino acids, then your body's able to produce hormones like serotonin, melatonin, dopamine. These are your feel-good hormones. Without those hormones, then you tend to experience things like depression, anxiety, right? So gut health affects mental health, right? So that's basically been kind of like the lesson that I've been teaching over the last few videos. Now, for the Anxiety Masterclass, what I want to go over is basically the opposite and how the opposite is true. And basically, I'm going to be talking about how mental health affects gut health, how your emotions, if you're stressed, if you are, constantly stressed, if you have any kind of like anxiety, depression, if you're overwhelmed, if you have phobias, fears, things like that, all of those feelings, right? Just feeling stressed alone, that can actually affect your microbiome, your gut health. And so there's also that, that side that, hey, if you don't know how to control your mental health, that's going to actually affect your gut flora, your gut health. And that's why I'm putting together this Anxiety Masterclass, because you have to do both. You have to fix your physical health, basically get your digestion system, your digestive system, improved, so you can actually get the nutrients, the amino acids that the body needs to produce hormones to basically improve your mental health. But at the same time, you need to learn how to control your mental health, how to improve your mental health so that that improves your gut health. And there is synergy when you learn to do both. And so I'm going to be linking to a video here, but I want to kind of show you real quick. I don't know if this will be able to play, but there's a video on YouTube that I'm going to share that talks about how words, and frequency can change water and human behavior. And so I'm just going to show a little bit here. I don't know if that's going to come through clear. But so basically, this was an experiment that was done where they said, okay, here's the word love, and that's basically the shape that water takes, right, when it's frozen and it's being spoken, these words like love, thank you, and then let me fast forward here a little bit. But here's for example, this one, you make me sick, I will, kill you. Look at the structure of the water, right? So basically this experiment, what it's showing is how words, how feelings basically affect the structure of water. Now, if you've been following me along, like I said, this is why I'm saying that this is going to be a masterclass, and I'm going to be essentially compressing information from like 15 years of experience, right? And, different things. But basically understand that my whole thing has been studying gut health, the microbiome, understanding, metabolic disease, and my experience. I was a home brewer, right? So here's the book that I wrote on how to brew beer, right? I have tons of books that I've read. This is the one that I actually wrote on how to brew beer. So I'm combining basically what I know from brewing beer, understanding how yeast and bacteria are affected by water, minerals, pH, temperature. And what I just showed you is basically the structure of water, right? This is something else that affects your gut flora, your microbiome. This is just one book. I have an advanced program that is not a printed book where I get very geeky into like pH and electricity and things like that. Now, some of you know this, some of you don't, but I also used to be in the Navy. And in the Navy, I was a sonar technician on a submarine. And basically what that means, I was the guy that would wear headphones and I would listen to the ocean. So I studied sound, I studied electricity, electronics, how sound travels through water, and basically combining that with this, basically understanding how sound changes the structure of water, that with my home brewing knowledge combined, like I don't know how to explain it, but that's basically what this masterclass is going to be about. But this helped me understand how anxiety and controlling your, improving your mental health, how that improves your gut flora. And so with this masterclass, I'm going to give you kind of like a big picture overview. And then I'm going to be actually running a series of like follow-up classes where I'm going to break it down even further. And this is really part of my book, right? Because beerdietproject.com, the website that I'm putting together where I'm going to be publishing the book, what I'm going to be sharing is not just basically diet information. Like it's not just about improving your health. That's like the beginning of it. Once you learn how to improve your health, you have a blueprint for learning how to improve your wealth. Health is wealth. Remember that. Wealth is health. Health is wealth. Once you learn how to improve that, then your relationships go next. And that's why you're going to see that there's a huge overlap between improving your gut health, improving your mental health, and why I share a lot of these success-based principles. I'm going to be talking about books like The Secrets to Success, Success Habits. There's this one here, The Master Key to Riches. I want to read something from this book because I think it's like super important to understand, and this ties right back into anxiety, because anxiety, here's the thing, there is anxiety, that's one side, like that's one mental state of being, which basically involves everything like depression, phobias, fears, overwhelm, things like that, all these bad negative emotions. And then there's the opposite of that, would be a state of gratitude, right? It's a different state of being when your mind is calm, and that's basically how you remove stress. And so when you learn how to do that, here's what this book talks a little bit about this. And again, this is the Master Key to Riches. This basically bridges the gap between understanding health and wealth, how taking care of your health improves your wealth. And it says here, let's see, so for example, there's people that have a fear of poverty, right, and want. And so there's, sound physical health. I'm grateful to you for having attuned my mind to the consciousness of sound health, thereby providing the means by which every cell of my body and every physical organ is being adequately supplied with an inflow of cosmic energy sufficient onto its needs, and providing a direct contact with infinite intelligence, which is sufficient for the distribution and application of this energy where it is required. Now, that may be way too much for some of you, but that's okay. Like I said, I know that some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing in this summit, there's going to be a lot of you who are not ready for it, but I need to put it out because this is part of my book. And for some of you, it may take months before you actually understand it, but I have a plan for you. So I'm going to be talking about this, and let me just read off one more. And I know some of you are going to be really excited about this. Especially those of you who are, have been waiting for me to share more on like how to actually go about, creating, streams of income online, because I'm going to be talking about the 4-hour work week, because this applies directly to controlling your state of being, your anxiety and things like that. So here's, another, I'm going to read a little bit more on this, but basically this book, there's one quote here that says, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. That's a quote by George Bernard Shaw. But basically what this book, one of the things that this book is about is it really helps you elevate your thinking patterns, and it really helps you establish a dream. And here's one of the ways that I've been able to, I guess, understand anxiety, and kind of what I'm going to be covering in more detail during this summit. But basically what tends to happen, Okay, anxiety, what anxiety tends to be is a gap. It's a gap between right now, this moment right now, and a future or a past event. So if you have something that happened in the past, right, maybe like for us, for example, it can be we've had gut issues, health issues, depression, anxiety, things that have happened in the past that make us feel a certain way, that can create a state of being right now. Now, the other thing that can create anxiety is basically if we're not happy where we're at right now. So if we're, for example, things like, once I get my energy back, then I'll be happy. Once I lose weight, then I'll be happy. Once I clear my brain fog, then I'll be happy, right? And so what happens is if you have that dream, that goal, automatically you're creating an anxiety gap, because until you fulfill that dream, there's anxiety. You're just anxious for that moment to happen and you forget to be happy now. And so the Anxiety Masterclass, what I'm going to attempt to do is to basically help you to be able to do both, to have a dream, a goal, something to aspire for, but to be able to be happy right now, to change your state of being right now, so that that mental health, and this is basically stuff that, like I said, I'm going to be going through a lot of books in this. There's this book, Awaken the Giant Within. Tony Robbins is big on this, where he talks really a lot about the importance of changing your state of being, energizing yourself mentally, because again, that mental health part of the equation is going to improve your gut health. And I think that is super important for hormone production. It's way more advanced, but the reason why I'm doing this summit is because there are people who are participating in this summit who are taking action, who basically want more information, and I want to make this information available to you. So again, I know this is going to be a lot for you, and that's why I'm going to do this as a masterclass, and I'm going to do this live inside of the Facebook group later on this afternoon. But I just wanted to pop on live here real quick to announce it, make sure that you guys are ready. If you guys are not going to be around in, I don't know, it's probably going to take me maybe another 2 or 3 hours while I take care of some things and then be able to get on live. If you think you're not going to be around, go ahead and register anyways, because I will be sending a link to the replay. And I'm going to also be doing follow-up training on this, but I promise you, this is key for hormone production. Controlling your anxiety is something that I've been actually noticing. It's affecting a lot of people that I've been talking to. Like I said, I know I experienced this when my hair was falling off, and I just was going into depression. I didn't really want to talk to people. It was really affecting a lot of sides of my life. It was affecting my business. It was affecting my relationships. And it wasn't until I started to actually take control of it that I noticed that that was also improving my gut health and hormone production. So I want to put all of this together. Again, it's going to be a lot of information, but I promise you, it is going to be worth every single second. So I really hope that you guys take, that you guys are able to attend live or watch the replay. And the other thing with it is, when you register for the Anxiety Bootcamp, the other thing that I'm doing is, prior to me doing this Hormone Bootcamp, I had put together previous programs. One of them was the Energy and Fat Loss Study Group. I did another one that I called the Hormone Jumpstart, actually, which was the original version of this bootcamp. This bootcamp is essentially the evolution of that first program, but there's still a lot of good information in my original program, Hormone Jumpstart. So I'm actually going to also make that available for those of you who are barely getting started and need a little bit more information and really want to work more on the physical side before you move on to the mental side of hormone production. So I'm going to have a link where you can register to get that program. I have another one where I was dealing with fatigue, detoxing your body, and then another one on diet that I actually never really released. I didn't really complete it, but I'm actually recreating it through this Hormone Bootcamp. But I'm going to be taking some of the trainings from that old one that I never released and combining with the new one to put together a new program. So again, all of this I'm going to be making available for everyone who registers for this Anxiety Masterclass, because it's all part of it, right? This is like the big picture of it. And again, my intention with this, my true desire with this, is to create more success stories, because I'm going to be giving you guys like all the information that I have essentially compiled over the last few years and basically let you have at it at your own pace. So I look forward to hearing more success stories from you. And again, this Anxiety Masterclass is going to be happening later today, later this afternoon. So I'm going to send out an email reminder. I'm going to send out a message on via Facebook Messenger to remind you guys, and it's going to be inside of the Facebook group. So make sure that you are in the Facebook group. Other than that, guys, hope you guys are having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you later today. Talk to you guys later. See ya.